What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. It's 5 o'clock. We're going to have an amazing guest on today. I'm so excited. Jenny, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, so I don't want to bash it. But Jenny is a top agent at Compass Sunset Strip. And sorry, there's a helicopter up above us right now. I'm in the marina, and it's a little bit loud, so just give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring Jenny on. So she's closed 32 deals in the last 12 months. And her average price point, give me 1 second, guys. I want to show you what's going on up here because this is ridiculous. Right as I go on, there's a helicopter right above us that is making a bunch of noise. But I'm here in the marina. I took a little half day off and I'm enjoying the boat today. It's a beautiful day. All right, we're going to have Jenny on. But before we have Jenny on, like I said, last 12 months she's closed 32 deals. She's at Compass. She's a rock star. So I'm excited to have her on. Here we go. All right, I think she's coming on any second from now. What's up?
Hey, I can't believe you're on a boat.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Check out this view right here.
That's awesome.
That's pretty nice, right?
You own a boat?
This is called Cell Time. So it's like a timeshare for a boat.
Cool.
And yeah, it's not bad. It's just like, it's really nominal. And I get to use the boat like 6 times a month. So I'm taking a half day. I'm gonna do some work from the boat today. It's beautiful outside, so gotta enjoy the summer while it's here.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
You can do all your paperwork and your work behind the computer while you're sitting there.
Exactly.
That's great.
But you're out there, making some real cash. So like I said in the intro, Jenny's a rock star. She's at Compass, closed 32 deals in the last 12 months, which is crazy. I think I've closed 8 or 9.
You're crushing it too.
So I mean, I'm growing a little bit, but you're obviously at a different level, and that's awesome. Like I want to know more about your business. But this fucking helicopter is coming around for round 3. I'm like, get out of here. I'm doing an IQ. Jesus. But before you start, I want to talk about how we met. So I thought that was really, really funny. The reason why I know Jenny is because this is like, I think 10 years ago. I think it's like 2013, right? I was in San Diego, I think, with some friends. I'm not sure where. I have no idea. All I know is I met you in San Diego with your friend. And we were at a bar, and we started chit-chatting. And I find out that you're a real estate agent, and you find out I'm a real estate agent in Beverly Hills. And so it's kind of a small world. And then obviously, 10 years later, here we are on IG Live.
Yeah, so that's part of like what's so important about our business is just to work and everybody you meet is going to have a real estate need at some point. And in our case, we were able to connect because we were both in the same industry. And, networking goes a long way between agents too, because you can share pocket listings, client needs. Yeah. You have different times where you're in a multiple offer situation, and having the agent on the other side know you can help get your offers accepted. Because there's a level of trust there. So hopefully you and I will get to work together soon too.
I know. I was sorry. I have a bee that's right on me right now. I got a helicopter.
I know that I keep hearing the helicopter too.
I got a helicopter and a bee. So sorry about that if I look a little distracted. But yeah, I totally agree that relationships are so important, especially here in LA. Oh my God, this bee is gonna sting me. Okay, so let's get right to your business. When did you start, and when did you start growing a team? Like, how long were you a solo agent before you started becoming a team?
Cool. So I started in the business in about 2011, beginning of 2011, and I walked into a random office on 3rd and Crescent Heights, and they were looking for a leasing agent. And, I had my license. I actually got my license in 2008, right after I graduated high school. I watched my dad sell a property, and I saw like how much commission he paid out to the agent. And it took the guy that he hired about 6 months to sell a home. And I was like, I can't believe that like you hired this guy. Like next time you sell something, it's going to be me that does it. And so I got licensed. I ended up finishing school. I graduated college in 2011. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to working with a friend that was a broker that had me sign my hang my real estate license with him while I was studying for my LSAT, because my plan was to go to law school.
Okay.
And so started working with my buddy that's a broker, started cold calling. We actually called a whole bunch of mobile homes out, like all over SoCal, including like Walnut, California, like places I've never heard of, places I had never been. I'm born and raised on the west side of LA. And so that's how I started, really.
Wait, hold on. Why were you calling mobile home? Mobile home
You know,
parks?
we were calling the actual homes, and they were selling, I think at that time, like 30,000 a piece, something like that. And it was my friend that was a broker that had this idea to call mobile home listings, because he said nobody's going after them. There's a huge market for it, and they don't appear to look like mobile homes. They actually look like freestanding, like beautiful homes. Some of them are absolutely gorgeous. And I'd never been in a mobile home before. I was not familiar with it, but hey, we gave it a shot. We called around. We started getting like all these listings from people we didn't even know. And we would we made like fun out of it. Like we would spend the weekends getting in the car, going out and meeting these different families and getting their properties on the market and the MLS. And that was kind of our start. And then after I did that, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yes, Darren and I were roommates also in San Diego. So we can go back to the San Diego stories after this.
I love it. So you went from selling $30,000 mobile homes to selling, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 million estates. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think my highest sale right now is $7.5 million.
Nice.
And I've been involved in sales up to 25 million.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. That's great. So how did you change from mobile homes to single family? Like, how was that transition?
So like I said, I walked into this office on 3rd and Crescent Heights, and they were looking for a leasing agent. And I just started. I've always loved working. It's just been like, I've always had like a passion for it. And I signed on as a leasing agent. The agent that was my mentor there also was really big into cold calling. And so we started calling together. And just gradually we went from like cold calling for leases. I think we got about 17 listings, combination of leases and sales, the first year that I was there. And that was 2011. And we were door knocking, and I just kind of went for it. I just didn't think too hard about it, and went out and met people. And I realized more and more that I was capable of selling higher priced homes. And I really only broke this like bracket of like the 3 million and above, and that which ended up turning into 5 million above in the last year and a half or two.
Nice. And so we'll go back to talking about, growing a team, but how did you break that threshold from the 3 million to the 7 million?
Just basically your connections, and just, I stopped kind of doubting what I could do and getting more confident. I was working with a lot of buyers at some points, and then I started shifting my business into focusing more on listings, which I actually loved because I love marketing and I love getting creative with it and design and working with a stager to get properties ready for market. So yeah, I think one of the biggest things, thank you, Jason. I think one of the biggest things in this business is like a lot of people just overthink, including myself. And when we just stop getting in our own way, it's like anything else. It's like an athlete or anybody that's doing any specific type of training, like stop getting in your own way and you go to the next level.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I was lucky enough to be on almost like a partnership team with Chad at Hilton and Hyland, and through that, like, I was able to sell some bigger listings with him, and I used to manage those transactions, so I was on every conversation, and a lot of times he said, "Hey, Paul, like, I want you to handle this whole transaction." So that gave me the confidence, but I was still, I didn't have the confidence to leave. Right, because I was like, he's bringing all these leads over, and he's very well connected, and he was on TV on $1 Million Listing, so I never saw the hunting part of it, So when I thought about leaving, I'm like, I don't know how to get leads. Like, I don't know how to do that, right? And I started, doing some research after like 10 years. Like, all right, I think it's time for me to, to go on my own. And I started, doing research, and I'm like, all right, I can cold call. I know that Alfonso and Bajor in my office are big time cold callers, and they get a lot of expireds. I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, why not? So I started, little by little cold calling, but I was nervous. Even at age
Yeah,
35,
it's hard.
even at age 35 when I first started, it's like it doesn't matter when you start, you're gonna be a little bit nervous doing it. It's not normal to like call somebody out of the blue and be like strike a conversation and try to get the appointment. But yeah,
Are you apologetic about it when you call now, or do you just approach it with confidence, like you're doing them a service by giving them a call?
It depends on who I'm calling, right? I will change my tone. I think tonality is one of the most important things. Script is important, but I think your tone is even more important. They're already getting a million calls, right?
Right.
So, you don't want to sound too salesy. You don't want to sound like a robot either, because, even though you're making a lot of calls, it's hard to get out of that like robotic stage of like, hi, this is Paul, I'm looking for blah, or hi, Matt, it's Paul at Hilton Hyland. I saw your house came off the market, or whatever it is. I think it's tonality and how you speak. And so like I've learned that if I speak a little bit slower, a little bit more composed, they come in to listen to me instead of talking faster, because I naturally talk fast, right? But on a sales call, if I slow down, then they're going to pay more attention to me.
Yeah. So I used to do a lot of cold calling, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been doing it as much, but I always want to encourage my team to keep doing it. When you're making these calls, are you when you started, were you going in a little bit more confident, you think, than the most average agent because you had a bunch of sales under your belt that you could share? Or
no. I was still nervous. Like I also don't like to bother people. Like naturally, like there's like this thing inside of me. Maybe because I was like the youngest of 4 kids, or I was super shy when I was younger. But like I don't like to like call somebody, like bother them. So like when they sound annoyed, then that like triggers me, and I'm just like I get all flustered. I've learned to like deal with that, but in the beginning, that was one of my biggest issues. Was like I don't want to bug somebody, and my coach was like, you're not bugging anybody. You're helping them out, So it's again, like you said, it's mindset is super, super important in real estate, and I think over time I've developed that, and I'm getting better. But I'm not perfect, I still have this weird feeling inside of me when I start making my calls in the morning. I'm like, oh God, I gotta make calls again. But then after I get in the groove, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Is it now your favorite type of prospecting is cold calling, or do you have another type of prospecting you like?
I like door knocking.
You do?
Yeah, because you're in person, you smile. I'm more relaxed. I actually like door knocking with my operations manager, Maggie. I don't know why.
She's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. But like when she's there with me, I feel a little bit more confident, more calm as well. And then I always introduce us as like a team. But I think door knocking is great because you put on a smile, and I like to door knock around my just listed, like right before it comes on the market. I do the whole neighborhood. Hey, we're having our first open house. I'm gonna have champagne, snacks, whatever it is, like a reason for me to go and talk to them. And then obviously
it's an invitation. It's a lot softer than saying like, hey, do you want to sell your house? It's saying you're invited to come to my open house and do like a VIP preview for the neighbors or whatever. And it's finding more clients that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. And so the last 2 times I've done that, I've gotten a listing appointment just from doing that. And it takes an hour or 2 out of your time, and I actually would rather do that than cold call. Like I actually get more nervous cold calling than I do door knocking, which is weird. But I feel like in person I just put on a smile. I'm more relaxed, and just there to say hi and see how they're doing. There's some people that are rude, but I think for the most part they're very welcoming, and they're not going to be rude to my face, because it's
harder.
Yeah, exactly. On the phone, people hang up all the time, or they're rude all the time. But in person, it's not the case. How about
Some
you?
of the rudest people that I've ever called have ended up calling me back or circling back and or being like, I had a bad day that day, and actually wanting my services.
Good.
Um, Honestly, right now, the my main source of prospecting is just networking and repeat and referral. So I
Amazing.
should be cold calling again, and I'm gonna try to make like team times for us all to call together because that's when I started. My mentor and like two other associates were all calling. We would set up like between like 6 and 9 p.m. and we would like have wine and like have the phones dialing and like make it like a fun event.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I haven't been doing much prospecting lately, actually, because I've just had, knock on wood, like a lot of business coming over to me, so I haven't had to try. We still prospect a lot for our developers. We'll do a lot of letters, and I put like somebody on my team, like on each developer that I think works well together based on the area that I think that they match well, and they will prospect specifically for that client or that developer.
That's great. I'm doing the same thing for my developers. I think that's a great area to focus on here in LA because there's no land, right? And every developer deal is three sides, right? You find the seller, you rep the developer. That's two. They build a brand new house that's going to sell for sure. That's three, and maybe four. So it's like for every one of those deals, like the commission just exponentially gets larger.
But it's interesting because I think that there is a big difference between people that specialize in buyers and people that specialize in listings. And I like to consider myself like really professional and present my listings really well. So I find myself like stronger on the listing side. I love representing the seller and I love putting together the marketing package. So
Me too.
I like working with buyers too. It can be really fun, but my passion really lies with marketing, and that's the part of the business I found the most fun. So I'd love to focus on listings as much as I can.
Yeah, no, I agree. And not only that, but when you can control listings and inventory, you can control your income. When you have a bunch of buyers, it's great, but you really can't control your income, especially right now in a seller's market where a lot of the buyers, are looking for a few years sometimes, and they submit a bunch of offers and they get nothing. So let's talk about building your team, because I'm in the process of doing that. Next week, I'm going to be putting a job posting out for the first agent to join my team. So I'm looking forward to that. I love to coach too. Like I love to mentor people and coach. I don't know. I just find, giving back is so rewarding. So tell me about when you started creating a team and like how that whole process started for you.
Sure. So our team is comprised of 7 people, including myself. One is our operations manager, Jamie. She's like your Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 5 agents also that are, 2 of them are newer and the rest have a little bit more experience. It's been a really interesting way how I've met every single person. One of the agents that's on my team was working in my office under another mentor and ended up coming over to me once his mentorship with that agent ended. Brought him on mostly to work with buyers. And then another agent was actually just not satisfied with their mentor. They weren't a good fit. There was like some generational gaps between them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very lucky to meet him through my manager, and that's been going really great. And then I've gotten 2 people that were referred to me through friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great. I interviewed them both during COVID, and they both got licensed during COVID, which was really interesting.
Nice. Yeah.
And then 2 more. One I actually met when I was filming a TV show, and she was the host of the TV show.
Really?
And I said, why?
Cool.
And she's so great. Her name is Kylie Edwards. She does a lot of DIY work and is like on HGTV and and so she has like this amazing built-in network of followers and people that think she's an agent, but she wasn't licensed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so excited to have her because she's such a natural, and I just couldn't believe she wasn't licensed. So when she did get licensed, I was so flattered. She called me and came in and interviewed with us.
Oh,
and then
but you planted the seed though.
Yeah, I mean, I told her, like, why aren't you licensed? She said, I've been thinking about doing it. I've been flipping houses for a long time. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just add this to your resume? You know, it's
Yeah,
just super
yeah.
easy for you to make that conversion. And so she's gonna crush it. And then one other that I was introduced through my manager. So we got a
Okay.
lot of people that call our office, which is how I got into my office and met my manager, was just a cold call trying to check out a different brokerage.
Okay.
And then she teamed them up with me.
Okay.
So
Sounds
it's
good.
growing. We're all growing together.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a bit of
great.
like a learning process for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still handling a lot of my own business, but mostly if there's buyers or if there's a listing I'm going on that I think that I could use one of the team members to take on with me, there is strength in numbers, and everybody builds different rapport with different people. Like you say, you go door
Yep.
knocking with Maggie. I'm sure there's a lot of people that respond to Maggie differently than they respond to you, and the
Oh
same
yeah.
thing with our team too. You know, so it's been great, and everybody helps each other, and we're all learning as we go.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
very blessed.
yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, when did you start thinking about, bringing a team on? Obviously, you hired an assistant operations manager first, and then
I
from
didn't
there, you
actually.
didn't. Okay, so
No, I went
you went straight.
backwards.
Okay,
I
I love
brought
it.
Shane on 2 years ago, and he was amazing. And then I brought on Ben, who was working with under another broker in our office. And then I brought Jamie on during COVID. She actually moved to Portland. She had a baby, and we've known each other same length that I've known you, 11 years, 12
Yeah.
years. And she had her book of business in LA that she needed to turn over and didn't know what she was going to be doing with it. So she said, will you take care of my clients while I'm out of town? Because she went on maternity leave to Portland.
Yeah.
And so I've been taking care of her clients, and in turn, I hired her as my operations manager, which has worked out great because she already knows all the paperwork.
That's amazing.
She knows a lot of the same clients, and then she gets to hand hold her clients, and
Hmm.
I just do the face-to-face communication and the showings for them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So this all kind of happened organically. It wasn't like you wanted to have a team. It just
it
kind of
was very
people
organic.
people are like, oh, I want to come on your team or whatever. And you're like, all right, and then you just kind of bring them on, and you kind of building this, little by little.
Yeah, I think I started just wanting a buyer's agent, and then now we've grown to the seven, and we're gonna stop at this because I want to keep it boutique. And since we have some newer people, there's a big learning curve, obviously, on all the
Yeah.
paperwork and prospecting, and just want to make sure everybody gets the attention that they deserve because it's busy right now, as you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's awesome. Because I've gotten requests, but I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I want to have more structure. I want to be more organized. I'm a little, neurotic about certain things. But I am looking
So
forward to
I
it, actually.
understand that, but that's what I try to like tell my own team too. Like, don't be so neurotic. Don't get in your own way. Like, just do it. It's just like how we learned how to do deals. Like, you learn as you go.
Yep,
So I'm happy
yep,
you're gonna post your first job opening next week
yeah.
for the team member. I think you'll be an amazing mentor.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's so funny because we haven't posted it. We're kind of getting everything kind of ready, and I've gotten like 4 requests in the last week for people that want to join my team. So it's kind of weird. Like the energy's out there. So I think people are kind of feeling that energy. Oh, I think Paul's want somebody on his team. So I'm looking forward to that. Have
Cool.
you done any kind of coaching? I mean, you had a mentor.
I've done a few different coachings. I've gone to Steve Scholl seminars.
Yep,
I've
he's great.
gone to Tom Ferry seminars, which I love the 3 days.
Hmm. The
I
summit.
did one more guy. Yeah, the summit's so awesome.
Oh,
And
I
you
love
meet
the
so
summit.
many people.
It's
It's
so,
amazing.
and the energy there is so great. Everybody's like
Yeah,
so pumped up, and he does a great job speaking. He's
he's a
insane.
great speaker.
Yeah, he is.
And then I did coaching with one other guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, that I didn't love so much.
Okay.
But no, I'm not
So
doing
you,
any one-on-one coaching with anybody right now, but I'm kind of
uh,
taking the bits and the pieces that I've learned and putting them together and finding out what works for me. Like to
I
this
mean, you're
day,
doing great. I mean,
I
it's
keep
awesome.
the scripts up. Like, I've been
It's
doing
important.
this now 12 years. I have all the scripts up in my office. So if I'm on the phone with somebody and I get stuck, I can at least reference them. And
That's
it's a great
awesome.
like starting point or
Uh-huh.
something like just if you can't find the words of what you want to say with somebody on the phone. And, we get calls out of the blue, or if I want to make a cold call because I identify a property that I think will work for my client, I use that as my base template. And then I just modify it to make it sound more like me.
That's awesome. Do you role play with your team?
Only if we're about to go on an appointment or if they have a question before they get on a call with a client, they will call me and we'll kind of talk it out, but not so much role playing. And then like a lot of emails that we send back and forth between clients and our team, like I'll review it before it goes out.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Awesome. And what systems do you use on your team? Like, are you on Slack? Are you using Google, Business, Workshop, whatever it's
My
called?
goal is to have Slack set up by next Friday because I've used it before and I
It's
loved it. And now
awesome.
that we're
Yeah.
growing to so many people, I think it'll be great for us.
You like it?
Compass has a built-in CRM. So we were using a lot of the Compass tools that are offered to us.
Why not? Yeah. I mean, they bought what Contactually, which is a great CRM.
Yes,
So,
they did.
why would you not use it? Um, Anything else? Like, are you guys on Google Drive or like anything like
Google
that?
Drive, yes. I know like you like what you're saying, like you want to get organized before you start. Like I said, I kind of went backwards and I got everybody going. And so
Yeah.
now Jamie and I are gonna work on getting everybody like super organized. We're gonna
Yeah.
redo our listing presentation, put
Yeah.
all our most recent sales on there and just get it going for the whole team.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So tell me how much you sold this year, volume.
Oh, you're gonna kill me because I know you're really numbers oriented and I don't know. You told me I sold 32 houses in 12 months. I
Yeah,
didn't even
that's
know that.
insane. I was just looking at the numbers. Like, if you guys are on this, type in. Oh, how do you pronounce your last name, by the way?
Okhovat.
Okhovat. Right. Type in Jenny Okhovat and see what she's selling. It's insane. You're probably at least 50 in the last 12 months for sure.
Probably.
Easily, easily.
I've
You're probably at
never,
60.
I know that like a lot of coaches are really into keeping track of their numbers,
Yeah.
and I've just never done it. I look at my year to date income every so often, and then at the end of the year, I've always been able to double my income year over year. So that's always my goal going into like January, and I've been very successful at doing that.
Yeah, that's good. What's your schedule like? I mean, do you have a pretty strict schedule on like how
I don't.
you don't?
I
Okay,
don't.
so just kind of
I depends on what's going on. Every single day is different. Like I had a client this week, he wanted like an 8 a.m. appointment. I saw another client at like 9:30 for inspections. It just kind of depends on what the inspector schedules are, what my client schedules are, and kind of like bending to do everything with them. Now that I have Jamie, she helps me write a lot of my offers. So I'm not glued to a computer screen since I'm in the car a lot.
yeah, you should not be doing
And
that.
I'm
You should
no.
should not be doing that.
Sometimes it's really hard to let go, but I'm like
Really?
trying really
That was
hard. And then
so
like
easy for me.
my best friends will be like, "Oh, I'm not good enough. You're not good enough to. I'm not good enough for your offers anymore. You're like pawning it on to somebody else." And I'm like, "No, I'm trying to delegate because you guys are all telling me the same thing."
You have to delegate for sure. Otherwise, like I mean, like you must work insane hours. I mean, for you to close
I
32 deals in 12 months, like how many hours are you working per day?
I work probably like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on average every single day. And then
10 a.m.
Saturday, like yeah, I'm a late riser.
So you're a late riser. You kind of relax, and then you kind of get into your deal.
Unless I have to be somewhere, like I will sleep till like 8 or 9.
Okay, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
then
then
you kind of slowly get up, kind of get ready, do
get
your
up, I have
thing.
my coffee.
Hmm.
Um, I'll do like my Peloton workout right before I
Hmm.
start the day. I'm trying to get better and better at doing that.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump on emails for a little bit. I'll have appointments set for the day, come back, do more emails, send out like listing presentations or property analysis or whatever,
Hmm.
and then just kind of wind down, have dinner, hang out.
But you're working
Weekends,
until 8 o'clock though.
yeah.
Damn, that's
Basically
late. Like
every day I'm working till 8 o'clock at
because like
least.
I start at like, well, I wake up at 5. I do my routine, but like I'm working probably around 7:30. I do a little bit of role play, and then my meeting with my operations manager, and then I start working. But I end at 5, 6 o'clock. So our schedules are kind of similar. I think you work a little bit, longer hours, but yours is just a little bit shifted, later in the day.
I'm guessing you're really disciplined since you do the calling and stuff. Like, do you have a set schedule that you stick to?
Yeah, I mean, 8 o'clock meeting with my assistant for sure, 100% always, every single day. Talk about the goals for the day, talk about yesterday's things, talk about, what are we doing for the day. And then after that, I start my calls for, until noon. In the afternoon, then I'm working on projects or I'm, at appointments,
So how do
Ideally,
you
I'm at
deal with like
appointments.
the curveball from a client? Like, hey, I just saw this house come on the market. I want to go see it. And you know it's going to be competitive, so you want to get in that day. Like, do you just drop what you're doing or do you stick
Yes.
to your schedule?
No. Yeah. But honestly, like that rarely happens. And I don't work with a lot of buyers. I'm mostly sellers. And even showing requests, I try to say, hey, afternoons are a little bit better. And for the most part, people are okay with that. But again, every once in a while, they're in the morning, and if they are, obviously, I'm gonna be there to show the property. But for inspections, I'm not at inspections anymore. My assistant's at inspections, so I try to delegate that. I think in the beginning, like you said, it was hard for me. But once you start doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm gonna delegate everything, and then just focus on the most important things.
Cool. Do you have an assistant plus Maggie or does she do everything?
She does everything.
Awesome.
Yeah. She does
Yeah, that's a
everything.
great thing about doing listings is you get to control your schedule a little bit more. And the serious buyers and tenants even, they will come when you tell them to come because they how badly they want it. They'll make it happen. Like the only time is 4 o'clock. Like my buyers, like they'll drop whatever they're doing to make it to that appointment because they know that's the only time they can get into this house.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, oh, sorry, like I have somebody right now that wants to see a house and they keep telling me like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. is too early for them. And I'm like, I think it's a celebrity client. I don't know who it is yet. But I'm like, I get it. But I'm also dealing with a currently occupied place. So I have to work with their schedule. So if you're
Yeah.
serious, you will also make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. And for those people that don't know about LA real estate, and I didn't know this when I first came here from Rancho Cucamonga, because I was selling real estate in Rancho after college for 3 years, and everything was on lockbox. It was easy. But here in LA, if you have a listing, you have to go show your listing, which I honestly enjoy doing that. Like I enjoy showing my listings, especially when you get to meet like really cool people.
Yeah, there's no lock. I mean, I get really pissed off sometimes when I see a lockbox too, because I'm like, you're selling a $4 million house. Like, why is it on a lockbox? This is your one job.
I'm like, if that goes expired or canceled, that's the first thing I'm saying.
Right.
Your agent put a lockbox that should never happen.
Yeah. So is your main place that you're getting listings through your prospecting right now?
Yeah.
Or are you getting a lot of referrals? Do you work with attorneys?
No,
cool.
It's almost all prospecting and
you're
some
going
referrals.
After
Expireds, canceled, and circle dialing.
What's circle dialing?
Circle dialing is just like a neighborhood, right? So like it's almost like door knocking around. You're just listed. It's the same thing. Hey, I sold the property down the street. Do you know your neighbor? We got 200 grand over asking price. Have you had any thoughts of selling? Or are you living in your dream house? But yeah, it's I sold one, a few months ago in Venice, where I sold the house right behind hers, and we had a great conversation, and we did that. And one other thing that we're doing right now, and I really enjoy it, and I know that you probably do something similar to this, is when you're talking to a seller where their house is not in the best condition, but they're willing to invest a little bit, and you say, hey, we have a team of painters, electricians, whatever it is, to come in and get the house ready for market. And they end up getting a much higher price. We've been doing that in the last few months on our listings, and our clients are super excited. And I'm like, hey, just spend 30, 40 grand or maybe less than that, get it staged, do all this stuff, and you're gonna get a really good price in your house. Are you doing that for your listings?
Yeah, I sometimes I'm just tempted to not even take a listing if the seller won't cooperate enough to paint or stage, because I feel like I'm doing them a disservice and not getting them the highest amount that they could get. If if they took my advice. And if they're not going to take my advice to start, I know that it's probably just going to not end up going so well at the
Yeah.
end. And sometimes that's the reason they didn't sell the first time.
Yeah.
But I'm working on something right now where another agent referred it over to me, and the seller did not want to stage or put any work into it when the previous agent had the listing, and I somehow was able to convince them that, hey, it just didn't work last time, so now it's time to try another way. And it was a tough pill for them to swallow, to know they have to put in a lot of more money in an asset that they're going to be getting rid of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like putting in 20, 30, 40 grand might bring you 2, 3, 400 grand back.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, this house we sold in Venice for 1.755. If we didn't do any work, we probably would have sold it for 145, 1.5. You know, and she spent 30 grand. It took 3 weeks. You know, so you're right. You know,
Probably so stoked.
oh, she was so excited. You know, she was, and she gave me all the trust, which is amazing. But I had to sell it. I had to really sell it. So I was like showing her photos of other listings in the area that were similar, that were all done up, and I was like, this is what we have to do. This is what your house should look like. And I probably not. I never promised, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a really good price on your property. So and it's fun. Like I like seeing that transformation as well.
You're so good at digital marketing too. Do you also do print marketing?
Yes, yes. Actually, like, well, print marketing for my listings.
Listings, prospecting. Do you do anything
Got it.
like that? Because I see you on email. I see you obviously on
Yeah,
Instagram. You're
yeah.
very active digitally. What are you doing print wise?
I'm definitely sending letters,
Okay.
handwritten envelopes. We buy an assortment of like neon envelopes that are really ugly on Amazon, like pink and blue and green, like really
That's cool. You
obnoxious.
stand out.
Yeah, yeah. And then we just, not me, but they'll handwrite the address and everything. No return address, and then a cool stamp, whatever it is. Just like a fun stamp. And we've been getting some calls for that. I'm like, this is awesome. I just started doing it like 3 months ago, but we're getting a lot of calls and booking appointments for that. So I'm going to continue doing that. I also have a geofarm in Venice. I live here in Marina, but we have a geofarm in Venice. So I have a 500 home geofarm that I mail every single day. So it's an 8.5 by 11, really really nice. But I've been saying that for the last 2 years, and I haven't got one call on those flyers. So I was like, these are costing me like $400 every single time I send them out. It's getting expensive, and I'm not seeing anything in return. I was getting more more conversations by just going door knocking. So I was printing the flyers out instead of mailing them, and I was just going and just like door knocking. Hey,
But
I
the
just want to give you
name
my
probably
company.
resonates with the people that
It
have
does.
gotten
Yeah.
the paperwork in the past.
Yeah, and it just takes time. It just takes time. Like you have to be consistent. Like my coach always says, just like trust the process. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. So the only thing that we're doing in terms of changing that print marketing is we're doing that only once a month instead of twice a month, and then the other time, so it's we hit them twice a month. So one is a nice 8.5 by 11 flyer showing them a market update plus one of my recent sales, expired or sold, or like whatever it is, and then we'll send a letter out. But the letters get more activity. I mean, like people are like texting me, "Hey, your house is not for sale. Thanks for letting me know." Or sorry, thanks for reaching out. Because on the letter I say, if you're not looking to sell, please let me know.
That's
And people are
so
super
great.
nice. Yeah, people are so nice, and they respond to that. So that's been good. But yeah, I mean, I think most of my almost all of my clients right now are from direct calling, texting, door knocking, open houses. Like I got a listing in Encino for 2.5 coming on the market in a month and a half from now, and they met me at my West Hollywood open house, and we had a really great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know, it was great. It was awesome. I booked an appointment. And that should be the goal for every agent, right? Like whenever you're talking to anybody about real estate, your goal is to book an appointment. Talk to them, have a conversation, but the goal is to, hey, like let's get together to discuss your needs. So they were a really nice couple, and they're like, yeah, come over. I'm like, right, great. So we went over, and their house needed some work. There were okay with spending the money, I brought my listing prep team. That's what I call them.
Cool.
And they're starting work in 3 weeks from now, and then we're gonna do a nice stage. You were talking about staging. I think it's really, really important not to just stage a property, but know the buyer profile and the price range and what the buyers are going to like for that house in terms of staging.
Right.
There's nowadays, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it's only Meredith Bear and now Vesta, but now it's like there's so many stages out there doing different styles, and I love that because for my Hollywood Hills property, I'm like I want to go boho chic. But for a Bel Air Beverly Hills, you might want to do a little bit more like more fancy,
Traditional Meredith
yeah,
Bear. Yeah.
exactly. So
No, it's
tell me
great to
about
have variety.
what you do.
For staging,
Yeah.
I've been working right now with Susan Lockett from Spruce, and she is awesome. One thing I love about her is she really does take the buyer profile into consideration
Mm-hmm.
and will customize the house to kind of get it sold. And I've had a great working relationship with her. I've also done a lot of work with Harlow lately. I've worked with Vesta. I've worked with Meredith. And almost everybody that I have met with will kind of listen to the vision that I have of what I want the house to look like. And the best way, I think, to get that across is not just by dialogue, but by sending them like Pinterest boards or pictures of
I
pieces
like
of
that.
furniture that you like, because it's just like going to get a haircut, like at least for women, like when we just explain what we want, it doesn't come out until we
You're
show
like,
a
what happened
picture
to
of
my
what we
hair?
want. Yeah.
My hair's too short. Yeah, that makes sense. And I agree 100%. It's like get involved with your listings, and it's so much fun, and after you do a couple and they're successful and you get a bunch of offers and you sell for way over asking price, then you get more confident. All right, I know what this buyer's gonna like. I know what to do with this house, and it's fun. I mean, it's because real estate. I enjoy real estate, but I like this whole process of like listing a property, marketing it, taking the right photos, doing the video, all that stuff is really exciting and it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's see if there's any questions. You have a lot of fans.
I saw
Jen's
a
the
couple
best.
stuff come up.
Jen's the best mentor from Kelly. Oh, this is your.
That's our
This is
DIYer that kills
okay.
it.
That's awesome. Oh my God, my fave. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Ellen said, "Do you think morning or evening calls are more effective for prospecting?" Um, Honestly, like I do mornings, just to get it out of the way because they take a lot of energy for me to do, and I used to do them in the evenings, but now I don't. So I think either way is fine. I think morning is probably a little bit better, but just call. Like if don't worry about what time. Just call people.
Another thing to do is when you don't get through the first time, you call again. So
Yes.
you make a note, like 11 a.m., this person didn't pick up. Maybe try calling them the next day at 6 p.m. or the next day at 11, seeing what time works for them to pick up.
Yeah, agreed.
And then you said you also do the texting, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure that's really effective.
It is, but I don't have a system yet that allows me to send this text automatically because like right now I'm using Vulcan for the data. I'm not sure if you heard of Vulcan or not, but
It's like connected to Redx, right? Or is it
well,
different?
it's a Redx competitor, but
Okay.
they're known to have like better quality leads, so they're a little more expensive, but it's better to have better numbers, right? But they don't have a triple line dialer. So when you're serious about prospecting, you call 3 lines at once, because right now, like when you prospect, a lot of people aren't answering their phones because they're getting calls all day long. Philippines, Jamaica, so like you're just like one of those other callers. So I've seen that doing a single line dialer isn't enough. Like I'm not getting enough contacts, so I'm using.
Very interesting, because I always
Yeah.
hand dialed when I was calling. I never even used the
You did?
dialer. I'm very fast. I'm a
I
very,
love
very
that.
fast typer.
Uh-huh.
However, if somebody can do robo dialing for me and I don't even have to spend another second, that's another second gained on prospecting.
Oh, like check out like so. What we do is we transfer the data from Vulcan to Mojo. It happens automatically because we have it synced. But then we just go on Mojo. I select whatever 100, 30 people, and each of them have like 2 or 3 numbers. And I use the triple line dialer, and it just starts going. It's just
That's
like
awesome.
new, and then whoever answers first, I talk to. If somebody answers on the other lines, then it'll drop a message like, "Hey, I'll call you back in a second," and then it'll notify me. And then once I finish with this conversation, I go on to the next one.
Somebody asked, what is your CRM?
Well, you use Contactually, which is the one that Compass bought, but
Correct.
we're gonna start with Sierra this month. Actually, I was using Property Base, which is like a Salesforce CRM, and it sucked. It was
I've
just
heard really
is
good things about Sierra actually from
yeah.
Michael, who's on here, Monk Cell Sunset. He's used it before.
Yeah, yeah. I A lot of the Tom Ferry people recommend Sierra, so that's what we're getting on. They do mass texting, mass ringless voicemails, which is great. So like if you're going to be doing an open house, you can say, "Hey, I want to drop a ringless voicemail to the nearest 100 homes," and it'll do that. It'll also do text messaging. It also has a dialer.
Wow.
It also has a dialer as well, and you can put up to 5 people on your CRM. So your team is 7. So obviously you'd have to pay a little extra for the extra 2 people, but
Cool.
we're gonna get on it here pretty soon. It's supposed to be amazing, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. The society group just joined. What's up? Sarah can do the auto texting easy. Hi, I need a good CRM, says
How
Maria.
big are you trying to get your team, Paul? I know you're
Um,
starting with one person, but
yeah,
what's your
yeah. I mean,
vision? Do you want to like have like an Aaron Kerman style, like 100
no,
agents, or
no, definitely not. No, I, I like, I mean, obviously it's nice to be like, oh, I have 50 people and each of them are bringing one or 2 deals a year, and I have 100 deals. But I think like you, I like it to be intimate, you know. I want to get to know the people. I want to get to mentor them. And I know a lot of these bigger teams, and listen, like Aaron's doing an amazing job. So like, there's like, he's a freaking rock star. But a lot of them don't even know Aaron, you know. And I want people on my team to know me, you know. I want them, I want to have celebrations with them. I want them to be almost like family, you know. Because like I'm not having people on my team, like it's a we're growing our own businesses together, you know. And I think that's my pitch. Like, I'm gonna help you grow your business. I'm gonna teach you how to hunt. I'm not gonna be the team that's just gonna give you leads all day long. I don't want that agent on my
right?
team. Maybe in the future, when I have a lot of listings and I need a buyer's agent, then I will like have that. Like right now, I want somebody that I can mentor and be like, hey, I'm gonna teach you what I know, and like I'll show you how to run your own business. Hopefully, you'll stay with me for the for 3 to 5 years. But listen, I know people are gonna go on their own and do their own thing, and 3 to 5 years, I'm okay with that. As long as they give me 3 to 5 years of hard work and we grow together. I think that's the most important for me.
Ours is kind of like split. Like I'll hand out some leads, and then at the same time, like I do expect everybody to bring their own business in, and trying to teach them how to hunt and not just wait for stuff to fall in your hand. Like you really have to be active in this business and prospect, even if that means just networking, like how you and I met at like a bar.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think it's important. I think people like that. I mean, there's some agents that want to be fed leads, and I get that. I mean, I'm not at the point in my business where I can just like hand out leads. Like I want them for myself. Unless they're leads, I don't want to have. But for the most part, I want to use my own leads, and they can get their own. But I'm going to teach them. I'll go on listing appointments with them. I'm going to mentor them. I'm going to role play with them. I'm going to coach them. So I'm looking forward to that. I might be calling you for some tips.
You can call me anytime. We have another question from Real Estate Rachel. Tips for cold calling new agents.
What's your tip?
Just do it. Start dialing and just do it. Get on the phones.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. You can, this past couple weeks, I keep repeating something to myself and to my team that you can't lose something you never had. So if the phone hangs up on you, you didn't know that person. They weren't your client. You had never made a connection with them anyway. So just do it. Don't think about it. Make the call, prospect, do what it takes to earn some business. And if it doesn't work out, nothing lost.
No,
I agree. Of your time.
Yeah, and if you prospect 2 or 3 hours a day, 5 times a week, like you're gonna freaking close a lot of deals in like 3 months. It's just a matter of time. But if you're consistent with that, like no matter if you're not good at scripts, if your tone isn't right, like as long as you're doing the work and obviously you're personable, and you will definitely get leads. There's sellers out there that you don't have to do a sales pitch. They're just you'll just connect with them too, you know, just by having a regular conversation. But I was just gonna say that just do it. Don't hesitate. Another question is, what is the name of your leads provider? I was talking about Vulcan for expired and canceled and circle dialing, which is like neighborhoods. Sorry, there's seals.
Oh,
there's seals. There's seals. I don't know if you can see them. You can't see them. They're on the other side of this boat, but there's like 20 seals on the dock. Sorry.
So cool.
Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you for coming on, Jenny. I really appreciate it. I've been following you, and I've seen you grow, and it's been awesome. I'm like, oh, Jenny's doing it. I got to do it too.
Thank you. Same here.
So I love seeing that, and hopefully we can do a deal one of these days together and share that part of the business.
I hope so.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to send me a DM, or you can give me a call. You can find my number really easily, and obviously Jenny as well. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have
See
a
ya.
great time
Bye.
on the boat. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.